Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to today's video. Now, today we're going to do a week ahead preview, and the first thing to address is probably the video title of the video today, which is the Monday stock bloodbath. And you're probably looking and going, but it wasn't a bloodbath. Yesterday, the S&P 500 was up 1.5%. That's a pretty good day after a market which has seemed, we had a bit of a pullback, nothing too major, like 2.5%. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, I looked and thought it felt a little bit bigger than a 2.5% pullback in the last few days. I looked at some of the stocks that were moving down, and I thought you would expect the S&P to be down maybe about 5% with some of those moves. So some really interesting opportunities were created in the last few days, in my opinion. But yeah, we had a big, a good day in the S&P 500 as a whole. The Nasdaq had a really good bounce up as well, as we see the end of the shutdown potentially happening. And why am I calling it a Monday stock bloodbath? Well, it was to do with the stock, Monday.com. So Monday.com actually did report earnings this yesterday, and the stock at one point in the open was down 20%. And it's a stock I own, so I'm going to talk about that in a little bit in today's video as well. Before we do get onto that, I just want to apologise for no video yesterday. I was just so busy. One of the reasons why I was so busy is sorting out the Black Friday sale for you guys. I really appreciate the amount of people that want to join the Black Friday sale. It is, for the content you're getting for £44, it is pretty incredible. I knew the demand was going to be big. I didn't realise it was going to be that big though. So I am trying to get back to your messages of the people that do want to join. I normally say give me 24 hours, but at the moment I'd say maybe give me a little bit longer potentially to try and get back to you guys. But thank you for all you guys that are joining the Black Friday deal, because if it wasn't for you guys, there would be no JKR channel on YouTube, because it just wouldn't be feasible. It wouldn't be financial be able to do it. And it's because of you guys that support it that we do have a channel. So honestly, thank you so much for the people that are trying to join. And if you do want to join, send me an email, jkrinvesting@gmail.com. Speaking of Black Fridays, today's sponsor also has a Black Friday deal going on as well. Today's video is sponsored by investing.com. Now, I'm sure you've seen me use investing.com before in my videos for breaking news stories in the stock market, but they also offer other things like Investing Pro. Investing Pro has many services like ProPicks AI. This is AI identifying stocks that could potentially be undervalued and gives you opportunities to look at and potentially buy. One of the categories they have is Tech Titans. You can see here this has returned 2,748% in the last 12 years, which is not too bad at all. That's an annualized return of 29% a year. If you want other categories like UK stocks, they also have them with Beat the FTSE and UK mid-cap movers. They also have another very exciting tool, which is Warren AI. This is a search engine to help you do your research on stocks. And the great thing about investing.com is they're currently doing their Black Friday sale. That gives you 55% off all of those features just mentioned. And as well, with my link in the description, it gives you another 15% on top of that Black Friday sale. So if you do want to join, there'll be a link in the description and in the comment section. So go take advantage of that right now. Thanks to investing.com for sponsoring today's video. So yeah, overall yesterday, pretty good day in the market. The US Senate passes the funding bill that could end the government shutdown. So the market tended to like that, and that's probably a good reason why the stock was up. Another reason why is Donald Trump going out and deciding he's going to pay everyone a $2,000 special dividend. I mean, I thought it was a bit of a joke, really, and then I noticed the amount of people that were actually taking it quite serious, and I was like, "Do we?" You never know, do you? You never know. But imagine that, getting a $2,000 dividend from the government. I mean, in the UK, we're closer to having to pay £2,000 special payment to sort the finances out, aren't we, rather than getting paid it? So it shows you the difference there. I mean, I've just seen the UK unemployment data go out this morning, and that's once again not great reading as well. I think we jumped up to 5%. I prepped this video last night, so I've not even took a screenshot of that. So yeah, not good there. Anyway, first of all, let's get on to the title of the video. The Monday stock bloodbath. That is certainly the case. This Monday.com It was down 20% at one point yesterday, which was incredible. Now, as the week went on, the stock did recover a significant chunk of that, which is obviously good to see, but still down 12% as a whole. And the reason why is obviously because they brought earnings out. Now, I'm not going to lie, I originally saw the earnings come out before I saw the stock move. So I saw the numbers come out, and I was having to scan down the numbers, and I was going, okay, yeah, EPS beat, that's great. Revenue of 26.6% growth, that's incredible amounts of growth there, which is great. They saw the net dollar retention rate was 115%. That's for 50,000. For clients with 100k was 117% as well, which is great. I had a little bit of a scoot down to the guidance, and the Q3 guidance looked about bang on where they were expecting. And I looked at the full year guide, and that was just slightly below the guide by I think about 1%. And I thought, okay, that's just managing expectations a little bit there. Nothing wrong with that. And I looked at the report overall, and I was thinking, yeah, it looks a really good report. And considering how the stock has been whacked recently, the share buyback on top, I was thinking, okay, that's good for Monday.com. I think the stock will maybe go up 5-10% on that report. Everything's moving back up in the right direction, which is great to see. And then I get a notification through from Trading 212, and the stock says 10%. And I'm not focusing on like the negative or the plus sign before it. I'm thinking, well, okay, it's gone up 10%. That's good. And then I went to click on it and have a look, and I went, no, it's down. It's getting worse, and it's heading towards 15% down, 17% down, 20% down. I was looking and thinking, did I read those earnings incorrectly? How is this down 20%? And I had to go back and read the earnings again, and I reread them and I went, is the market sending Monday.com down because the full year guide was 1% below expectations? This can't be the case. We're not throwing stocks down 20% for things like that, are we? And to this point, that generally seems like the case. I'm going to do a full deeper dive of earnings on the private group for you guys, so obviously keep an eye out there. But I generally can't see why the stock has gone down. I think the stock should have gone up, and the fact they went down 20% was unbelievable. I know we sometimes see some wacky moves in the stock market, but that's got to be one of the most wacky moves that I've seen anyway. So yeah, mental, absolutely mental. Anyway, getting on to the week ahead. So we do have the US inflation data coming out this week. Forecasts look for it to stay pretty stable at the moment. Consensus is about 3% when last quarter it was 3%. So that would be good to see inflation remain steady. That would hopefully give the Fed a little bit more confidence to keep cutting those interest rates overall. We also get US retail sales. I was actually quite surprised to see how strong these numbers are. So the consensus is a little bit of a pullback to 0.4%. But looking at the commentary around like PayPal in particular, we called this out when we reviewed PayPal's earnings on the private group earnings review, and they came out and they said, spending's down a little bit in October, so just be careful. People are still out buying, but they're buying less in the basket, less basket amount. So yeah, that looks an interesting number to be watching, because from the commentary that I've heard, it doesn't look that great out there at the moment anyway. On the UK earnings point of view, so I think K-Box have actually confirmed their earnings for this morning. But Monday, nothing in particular for me personally. Tuesday, nothing really. I know a few people are watching that for Imprint, but not one that I personally look at. On the Wednesday, WH Smiths aren't reporting. I think that's where they were supposed to report until they delayed the financials. But Taylor Wimpey, that'll be an interesting one. That's one that I personally own. And Flutter will be interesting to see what is going on with the betting market on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, so we've got B&M. They're posting the full interim results. So I don't know if you'd like me to cover them on the YouTube, because when I cover UK stocks, they normally do absolutely terrible for views. However, the one stock that breaks that trend is B&M. So I don't know if you guys are wanting a B&M video, but yeah, I used to own B&M. I sold it just for a slight loss, and on the first profit warning, and I just went, this doesn't look good. Like, it's just not sitting well with me. I felt like the management weren't being honest, and I thought there was a bit of a bigger mess than what was going on and declared in that update, and that certainly was the case. And since then, the stock has fallen down about over 30%. So really managed to dodge a bullet with that one there. I remember when I originally did sell my position, my days, I've not received feedback, not good feedback like that on a video for a long time. I got called many different things on YouTube, on X, on forums, and yeah, absolutely slated, but it looks massively like the right decision. A lot of people keep asking me if I'm going to get into B&M, and the answer is, I don't know. Like, just because the share price is now 30% lower is not a good enough reason for me to get back into B&M. They have to show signs of getting it under control, because the last update to me, the last two updates to me, it looks like they've just got no grip at all what's going on with the business, managing the financials. I mean, the freight costs, that was one big thing for me that I was like, this is all over the place. And then that later turned out to be the reason for the profit warning, which was no surprise at all. So they would need to massively get the financials under control. And I know people will say, well, if you do that, the stock might be £1.80, £2. I'm fine with that. If the stock wants to go up 10-20% and I miss out a little bit of a jump just to make sure this ship isn't sinking and we haven't got Woolworths 2.0, and that's what I'm absolutely fine with. So, and £2 would still be way below what I sold it for previously. So that's what I'm kind of waiting for at the moment. Probably worth mentioning about the balance sheet as well, to be fair. So on to the US. I think that's all of the UK stocks. I didn't miss any, did I? Aviva reporting. I own Aviva. They're normally steady report. Rolls-Royce, Wizz Air, they've had a tough time at the moment. Burberry are reporting as well, if any of you guys are playing that one for a turnaround play. Anyway, that's all the UK stocks. So onto the US stocks. We've had Monday there with the likes of Monday.com. I'm so glad Monday reported on Monday. Tuesday, so Nebus, I think that's quite a popular one. I don't know if that's how you say it correctly. I think a lot of people have been talking about that one recently. Beyond me, I don't know how that's up there. I thought they reported a few weeks ago, actually, to be fair. So nothing too much on the Tuesday for me personally. Moving on to the Wednesday, on running a hold, reporting at the moment. I'm sure they're having a bit of a pullback at the moment, but financially, they're actually still doing not too bad, to be fair. But the big one for me probably is D-Local. I'm actually quite surprised because D-Local is up 21% year to date, and I was going to say only 21%, but 21% isn't too bad. But considering their latest financial report, where they had a decent EPS beat, revenue accelerated to 49% year over year, and then they hiked up the guidance to 30 to 40% a year, and it's at a 24 times earnings PE, which is literally 1 month away from finishing the year at 20 times forward PE. And I'm looking and thinking it's only up 21% year to date. Like, it seems a little bit undervalued, doesn't it? And I've not bought D-Local for a while, but I do look at that and the numbers that they've been doing recently, and I do feel like that could be a stock that should be maybe a little bit higher. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll leave that one there for you guys to think about and see what they do. Walt Disney reporting. So that's going to be the first time I report or see Walt Disney's earnings as not a shareholder. Obviously, you guys know I sold my shares out of Disney, so it's still interesting to look at. JD.com, I know if you guys are circling around that as a little bit of an opportunity at the moment. Gambling.com on the Thursday. I thought they were reporting a little bit earlier in the week, but Gambling.com are on the Thursday. PaySafe on the close. New Holdings are reporting. We do own New Holdings. Virgin Galactic, I remember when everybody was going mad over that. Not as much nowadays, to be fair. But yeah, New Holdings, a bit of a sneaky winner this one. I actually didn't realise this one was actually up 50% year to date, which is pretty incredible. Earlier on in the year, this was a $10 stock. I think I'm up about 30% on New Holdings at the moment, which is once again, when we talk about D-Local, big difference here because kind of operate in the same area, and I'd even argue the case that maybe D-Local's earnings have recently been a little bit stronger than New Holdings. But New Holdings is up 50% year to date, and D-Local is only up 21% to date. But yeah, New Holdings doing really well. Deserved really. The financials have been absolutely amazing from them. I think they're just going through a bit of a re-acceleration phase at the moment, I believe. So yeah, the latest quarter is expecting 37% growth, which is obviously pretty good. And oh yeah, look at that, really good ramp up on the EPS, which is great to see. I'm not sure what the trade on the forward P. Let's have a quick look what they've traded on. Okay, so they're about the same sort of valuation as D-Local, even slightly cheaper at the moment, so not too bad. So yeah, that looks pretty good to be fair. So yeah, we haven't really talked about New Holdings that much recently after its rally, because it was a stock that I was quite keen on at the back end of 2024 into 2025, and now that it's bouncing up, not really mentioning it that much to be fair, but that's looking pretty good. And the financials look incredible for still the valuation here, so you could argue the case this is closer to being undervalued than overvalued, even with the rally that it's been on, which isn't too bad going anyway. So yeah, that is the week ahead preview for you guys. Hope there is some useful information in there, and also talking about the Monday Bloodbath as well, which is not the market as a whole, but Monday.com stock having a little bit of a dip. Like I said, I'll try and cover those earnings for you guys on the private group. I'll try and get that one turnaround for you pretty quick. But yeah, that's everything. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you all in a bit.